Welcome to Ice Cream Science for Women, where we sometimes talk about fitness, but we mostly talk about ice cream. What, my friend, are you drinking?
That's a good question. Also, can you see little Lilo in the background there?
Hi,
You're watching this
Lilo,
on
living
YouTube?
living your best life, just chilling hard.
Always, always. She can't hear you because I got my headphones in, but she says hi
That's
back.
fair. Hi.
I actually have three drinks right now that I am consuming.
Great.
Um, so this is, have you ever heard of this? It's Steaz, Steeaz. It's just
I
green
have.
tea, like organic green tea, 0 calories. It's got a little, this one is unsweetened passion fruit, has organic brewed green tea, organic
Acerola,
acerora.
cherry. Yeah.
Yeah, you got
Nice.
me. And then, yeah, that's it basically.
Okay.
Um, so this company sent me like a whole package of these, so I've been trying them out.
Cool.
Um, and then I got some, actually not super coffee. I got Element chocolate hot Element in here.
Great.
And then I got
Do you
some
put anything in
greens
it, or is it just like
in
water
here.
and element?
It's just hot water, so like hot chocolate. Then I got some greens in here. I had my Bubs collagen in my coffee this morning. And what else did I have in that? And
I'm
then,
only
oh my God. Oh,
I'm only drinking one beverage because I'm just a mere mortal. And this is actually just water and Element. Shout out to Element. But I'm drinking it out of my sweet Bubs shaker cup because we love
mm-hmm.
Bubs around here. Big fans of Bubs. Let's just throw it out there. You guys should also be big fans of Bubs. You should buy your collagen from them. You should buy your coffee from them. You should buy your creamer. They have a new creamer now, and I've been using it, and it's pretty delicious. So you should just buy that from them. You get 20% off with our code MSW20, and then you're helping us out because then the sponsor's like, oh, these guys are cool. People listen to their podcast and they'll keep sponsoring us. That's basically how it works. So, do us a
Pretty much.
solid. Go buy yourself some coffee. Bubsnaturals.com. They're the best. There you go.
Yeah. And then speaking of our other sponsor, did you see my story yesterday?
Yeah, I reshared it. Hello.
Okay, but did you
Hello.
see the one where the protein powder exploded all over my kitchen counter?
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Well, you have to go
How?
watch it because it's still up. Last
Okay.
night I had my assembly line going for my
Of
protein
course.
ice cream
Yeah.
because I make like 6 or 7
50
at
of
once.
them.
So like once a so you only have to do it once a week, right? And you're
That's
just like
smart.
pour, scoop, 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 blah, blah, blah. So I was opening a new container, both vanilla and chocolate of Active Stacks.
Yes.
And I was like, for some reason, the vanilla would not open. I don't know what was going on, but I was like, really like, not elbow grease. What's
Yeah,
the
that
word?
makes
I don't
sense.
know.
Like trying to
Whatever.
get the,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it freaking just popped off and went all over the place. And I was like, fudge monkeys.
That's an amazing curse. But I will say, like, people talk about like getting mad, like, don't cry over spilled milk. Like, when you totally destroy like a protein powder thing like that, it is annoying because that's gains, that's money, that's everything
Yeah.
just flying all over your kitchen. So I get
Yeah.
it.
I will say I didn't lose that much of it. So it was only kind
Okay,
of like
good.
maybe a scoop. Actually, maybe only a scoop was lost, but just like cleaning it up and just, it's just like, oh, crap. And
A
then
scoop
Lilo's
of
like coming in the
powder into
kitchen
the
trying
air
to,
goes a long way, right? Like
yeah.
it seems like worse
Yeah.
than it
Don't tell.
is.
Yeah. And Alex was away and don't tell her, but like her office is on
Is
the other side of the
destroyed?
kitchen. It's on the other side of the kitchen, like her desk. And it went, so like I was like, oh, it didn't get anywhere because I thought it stopped like on the kitchen counter. And then like 3 hours later, I go to fill up my water bottle because we have a little the Aqua True like water filter on the thing. And I look at her desk and there's freaking protein powder all over it and all over the floor behind it. And I'm like, so I have to get in there like another 10 minutes, get on my hands and knees, like cleaning everything. Oh, anyway,
I was like, I'm pretty sure she's
what a
gonna find
mess.
out either way. You're like, don't tell Alex. I'm like, pretty sure if she comes home to a protein powder explosion,
I cleaned
you're
it up. I cleaned it
okay.
up.
Good, good for you. You're the best. You're the best.
Anyways, Active Stacks is do we want to just shout them out as
Yeah,
well?
why not? Let's shout them out. They're great.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what I was using to make my assembly line protein ice cream. We love them, love their protein powder, chocolate vanilla. We talk about all the time. Got super
Good
simple, clean
ingredients.
ingredients. Taste is on point. Um, and yeah, you should check them out. So I'm really bad with codes. I'm sorry.
MSW10. MSW10 gets you
Hmm.
10% off activestacks.com. And I will say too, just to, again, like, since these are obviously very organic ads, you can tell these are not rehearsed. One of the things that comes up for me is like, because I get asked actually a lot about like, what are some good protein powders that you recommend? And of course, Active Stacks is going to be one of them. And, it's not necessarily, they're actually pretty well priced considering how good the ingredients are, but like it's not going to be the cheapest protein powder on the market. But I think if you're going to kind of invest in a better quality thing, protein powder is a good one because it's a supplement. Like you're not eating, like most of your meals aren't 90% protein powder, right? So like if you're going to get this like treat that's a special thing that you're going to use, here and there for your ice cream, for your like post-workout shakes, whatever, like get a better quality thing. Like don't pay the lowest price and get the cheapest, crappiest stuff because then you might as well not be using anything at all. You know what I mean? Like if you are in the fortunate position to be like supplementing with extra protein products, like get the good stuff that's actually going to be like really benefiting your system. Do you know what I mean? It's not the most expensive stuff out
Yeah.
there either by any means, but I just wanted to like say that because I think a lot of times people are like used to whatever. You go on like protein.com and you get like some bulk mass produced whatever and it's
Yeah.
going to be cheaper, but like if you wanted that you wouldn't have asked me what my recommendations are. You
Yeah.
usually want like higher quality, better ingredients, right? Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I was gonna say too, like it takes me even though I have protein ice cream pretty much like every night, I sometimes I don't use like a full scoop. I use like 20 grams in each of it, which is I think a full scoop's like 30 grams ish. But I don't use like a full scoop all the time because I typically get lots of protein earlier in the day anyway. So this is not like I'm using it to kind of just top off and I don't really actually need that much more protein. I like the flavor and I use it for the ice cream and the texture is really good with Active Stacks. So that's one thing. And then also like it takes me a long time to get through one tub. And I know that some people like the first time I went online and I went to buy Active Stacks, I was like, this is expensive. And like the kind of the price point when you first see it and you're like, oh, this is just for a tub, but you don't realize like you get a lot of servings and like it lasts a long time. And like you said,
Yep.
it is top quality. So don't be,
Yep.
you know,
Don't be
cheap.
stingy with your protein powder,
Yeah.
guys. And we're giving you a little
Yeah.
discount. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. I just want to tell you that my hammies and my glutes are pretty sore today, and I'll tell you why. One, it's my first workout of the week. It's Thursday. We're recording this, and this is my first time getting to the gym since the weekend, which, for a meathead like me kind of sucks, but it's been one of those weeks. So anyway, but I went in there and I decided to do a lower body workout because it's been a while and I wanted to. And I was playing around with some of the movements that we are highlighting in our upcoming Grow Your Glutes workshop. And I wanted to just like get back into that vibe since that's going to be actually happening pretty soon. And I'm really feeling it in a very good way. It's just so nice to, I don't know, have your own work validated because I'm like trying some of these workouts and I'm like, oh yeah, I really feel that in my glutes. Which of course
Did you do the specialization day?
Yeah. Well, I didn't do all of it, but I did some
Okay.
of the things. And it was just like, and again, it's cool because, one of the good things about this program and the stuff that we're going to be providing for participants is that there are alternative exercises. There's options for whether, maybe you don't have the equipment, maybe you, for whatever physical limitation reason, you can't do a certain exercise, or maybe you just prefer not to. Maybe you just want to try something different. We provide options. So I was playing around with some just sort of like tweaks to maybe some things I normally would do in the gym. And it's just, again, as a like gym rat, somebody who just likes being in there and playing with different things, it's fun to see how like minor tweaks or adjustments in like positioning, in just a slight change in the range of movement or what you're doing can completely change how that movement feels. It's just fun. So anyway, I was just sort of like nerding out, but I'm like feeling it already. And I did the workout like earlier today. So I know tomorrow I'm going to be like extra feeling it. But anyway, that was like a
This
bit of
makes me
a,
so happy.
right? It's like a little natural segue into talking about our program, because we are going to be, the plan is to launch that and do the live workshop at the end of this month. And we're going to be obviously communicating about that and sending out emails to the like VIP list and the pre-sale list. And we're going to be posting about it on social media, but it's just cool. I'm like in the headspace right now, because I'm not normally like super in the glutes headspace, because, you know, I prefer other things. I like working lower body, of course, but I just, you know, I'm not like the glute person every day in the gym. But I've been getting more in that headspace since we're going to be providing this resource for people, and it's just been fun to just sort of challenge myself in a new way and like feel the results of it. It's cool. So anyway, just wanted to share that.
Yeah, and that's all the stuff we're going to be going through, like in the program. I'm super stoked because you know that I love to nerd out on all this stuff, and so it's exciting to like my. I think my biggest passion, I guess you could say, is just like teaching, right? And so like nerding out and then teaching it. So we're going to be going full nerd status, but also like super practical as well, like practical application. So if you're listening, you're interested, we have the live workshop that's going to be coming up. But after that, right? So if you're listening to this, you know, later on, it'll still be available. So the link will be in the show notes, and it's rgfit.com/glutes. So go there. That will, you know, get you access to everything. And if for some reason that link doesn't work, just shoot us an email. It should always work moving forward. But shoot us an email and we will get you access to it.
Yeah. I'm really excited to do this one, to get feedback, and to show people, especially our audience, what a specialization program should really look like. Because I think people, again, in our very like fast-paced, like click and download sort of society, I think people are really expecting like glute specialization. You pay some money and then you get like a PDF of some workouts. And this is so much more than that, so much more than that. So I think people are going to like be really happy with the quality, the amount of resources, the amount of sort of support and information and education they get that can really be applied to so much more even than just training your glutes, although that is the focus. And then my hope, which I think our plan is like this one crushes, everyone loves it. And then we do, you know, more specialization programs for other body parts and other kind of goals that people have, because we did get feedback that people were like, really into growing some shoulders, which I love. And, you know, I'm sure there are some other things. Maybe people want some pipes. Maybe people want some big biceps. We'll see. We'll see what comes next. But we'll start with glutes, and I'm pumped about it. I think it's going to be great. So,
same.
All right. That's it. Maybe let's dive into...
Well, not that's it.
That's
like,
it.
okay,
See you later, guys.
That was the episode. See ya.
Bye. Bye, guys. No, we actually do have a question that we're going to address. And this one came from Instagram. And I feel like we've talked about it before, but I went back through our like podcast list, and we haven't really, at least not in depth. So I guess we might as well talk about it now. And it's about HIIT workouts. So high intensity interval training workouts. And again, depending on sort of where you are, what community you're a part of, it's either amazing or the devil or, so, you know, whatever, somewhere in between. But I think it might be good for us to, basically this individual kind of reached out and was like, I've been doing a lot of HIIT workouts, and I'm just wondering, you know, because I want to be really efficient and I want to be really effective in the gym. I've got a short period of time. I want to go in, get out, and do the fat burning, get fit, get conditioned, all that stuff and I think she did say too, like, I've been experiencing some negative symptoms, maybe like burnout or plateau or whatever. And I'm basically just wondering, are HIIT workouts good? How much should I be doing them? What do they really look like? So on and so forth. So I thought it would be good for us to maybe like start basic and talk about like what HIIT workouts ideally should be, and then maybe talk about how you can use them for what your goal is, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll just give like a little bit of my 2 cents. I feel like we have maybe a little differing opinions on this potentially, which is great. But I'll just say, like, from my experience over the years, from, you know, CrossFit life to where I'm at now, And then also just like lots of clients who have also gone through that, maybe not CrossFit, but maybe it was like the, Orange Theory 4 times a week or the Barry's Boot Camp and, all those like HIIT workout styles, right? Circuit classes and things like that. I'll just say this, like my best body composition that I've ever had has come from doing zero HIIT workouts. Zero. Um, and I'm not saying that means that they're bad or like you shouldn't ever do them, but my best body composition personally and with many clients that we work with comes from focusing on going to the gym to build muscle, not going to the gym to focus on burning calories, to focus on sweating, to focus on, you know, working your butt off until you just feel dead afterwards, right? Those three things, like those are fun here and there, whatever. But they should not be the main component of your training day to day, week to week. If your goal is to change your body composition, and by that, I mean build muscle and also lose body fat too. Um, and the reason that I say this is because when you are trying to change your body composition, the main goal should be to build muscle, right? Because that's what gives you the shape. And if you're not sending the right signal to your body that tells it to actually build muscle, then you are just doing a lot of work and getting little reward from that. So if you're looking to change your body composition in the most productive way possible, in my opinion, you should be following a progressive program where the goal is to stimulate your muscles, right? To send the right signal to your muscles to build tension within that muscle tissue that allows it to adapt and then grow, right? It will adapt to that stimulus. And once it adapts, then you have to add more weight or reps or whatever. That's the progression. And that will cause the muscle tissue to grow versus trying to incorporate lots of short, intense bursts of HIIT where you're actually using lighter weights and the limiting factor is not actually your muscle tissue, but it's your cardiovascular system, right? So like Orange Theory and CrossFit and, Barry's Boot Camp and things like that, I like to call those cardio with weights, right? Because that's what it is. Like you can only use so much weight if you're doing such, short, intense bursts with low rest periods. And what is giving out first, right? What is the limiting factor? For most people, it's not their muscle tissue that is getting close to failure, right? And that's what's giving out first. Typically, it's your cardiovascular system, right? Or it's the buildup of lactic acid and kind of those, the burn that you feel, right? So yeah, I can go deep into this, but I'm gonna let you talk. That's just kind of my opinion on, okay, what is it all comes back to what's your main goal? What have you been doing and has it been working? And if it hasn't, then maybe we should try something different. And then also, do you actually understand why you're doing what you're doing, right? What is the actual science behind that? And that's what we talk about in the Muscle Science Forum program.
Yeah, sign up. Unfortunately, I hate to tell you, but I do agree with you on this. I completely agree with everything you just said. I think a couple points that I want to talk about here. One, I think maybe some people aren't doing HIIT necessarily to build muscle, which, as you've correctly said, HIIT is not the best way to build muscle at all. But I think a lot of women do it for, first of all, just the endorphins, just the rush of that feeling of I worked really hard, I'm like sweating my ass off. You get that, that rough rush of dopamine and endorphins that make you feel good after you worked really hard. I think a lot of people do that. And also for like the mental, I just worked really hard. Which again, not to say that that's right or wrong and that there aren't better ways you could do it, but I think that's why a lot of people do it. It's like the mental feeling you get from working very hard. And then people do it for fat loss. And I think, and I'm going to talk about how I think maybe you could incorporate HIIT, but I think that well done and appropriately programmed HIIT, along with a ton of lists, like our long, slow, going for walks, super chill, is potentially a better way to fat burn than what a ton of people do, which is this sort of middle of the road, jogging on a treadmill for an hour a day. And when I say appropriate HIIT, I want to talk about this because one of the things that I think is the biggest issue with HIIT workouts is that people don't know what they actually are. Like you said, like Barry's boot camp is cardio with weights. That's not HIIT. You cannot do a HIIT workout for 45 minutes. It is no longer a HIIT workout. High intensity means very short bursts of high intensity workout with a break in between, and not that many rounds of this, because human beings, we physically cannot do it. It's like, an elite Olympic sprinter can't sprint for 2 hours. You can't, that's not a sprint anymore. It's a very fast run if you're an Olympic, marathoner, but you can't sprint the same way for 100 meters for 10 seconds that you can for 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, right? So I think we're losing the thread of what HIIT was initially intended to be when we're doing 30 minutes of 5 rounds of whatever the hell it is we're doing, and we're slogging through it, and we're just kind of like, and then your form breaks down. It's just kind of, it's all bad, but we feel like we're working very hard because we're exhausted. So anyway, when I think of HIIT and when I like to incorporate it, it's more like maybe once a week, I'll go to the hill by my house and I'll sprint up it and walk down 5 to 7 times. That to me is a HIIT workout. It takes 10 minutes, and it's a very short burst of sprinting, running, that's using my muscles, and it's working my cardiovascular system. And then I'm walking down. It takes like maybe 2 to 3 times as long to walk back down, and I'm focusing on my breathing and getting my heart rate back down. And I do that again a handful of times. I'm not doing it 20, 30 times. And I'm not doing it, for half an hour and then going and doing a weightlifting workout. I'll do that and that'll be it. And maybe I'll walk or something. Something similar, but with a rowing machine or, I don't know, a bike or whatever. But I'm not doing it 3 or 4 times a week. I'm not doing it for longer than 5 to 10 minutes max. And really, I agree with you too, that like you don't need it to lose fat, to be fit at all. But if people like it, if people really enjoy it, doing it reasonably in the context of a strength training program and acknowledging sort of the stress that it places on your body, so not doing it frequently, I think you can incorporate it. It's just going to look really different than I think a lot of people expect. A lot of people are thinking, again, more in line of the like CrossFit Metcons that take 20 to 35 minutes and the Frans and all that kind of stuff, which like really isn't probably a good idea for most people and certainly isn't going to help build muscle, as you say. So anyway, that's kind of my thought about HIIT. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I will say that I agree with that. I think that, the main component of all of this is just understanding, what is your main goal, right? What are you using this for? And for anything in life, usually there's no like, oh my God. I mean, not that that's not right. For most things, it's not like white or black, right? Black or white. It's not like yes or no. Absolutely. Typically there's gray area. And it's just understanding like you have to know what your main goal is. And the more you're educated also on what you're doing, right? The more education you have, i.e. the Muscle Science Run program is the reason why we put that together was to educate women on how to actually tone their body, which equals building muscle. And there's a lot of misconceptions and misunderstandings of like what it actually takes to do that and what you should actually be focusing on. And so that's really the reason, like this question is the reason, one of the reasons we put together the Muscle Science Run program was to really debunk like, okay, this is what you should really be focusing on to actually achieve the goal that you want to achieve. Without doing the things that you think you should be doing, because a lot of the time the things you think you should be doing and that you see on Instagram and you see and you've heard and all that stuff are actually causing you to do more work and get less results and also leading to more burnout, because that is just, especially for women who are like us, at least like me, like type A, like I used to be, I've said this before, if I wasn't dead on the floor in a sweat angel after my workout, I didn't feel like I was doing anything. Like that's how I used to feel. And so that's what I would aim for. Like I would want to feel exhausted after my workouts because that's the feeling, you get that dopamine hit from that. Right. And so you feel that and you're like, oh, I feel good. Like I worked really, really, really hard. Right. But that's not the reality of how to actually change your body composition for good, for the long term and actually build the muscle. So I think there's a disconnect there. And that's what we're trying to do with this podcast, with our programs, with our glute program, with all the things that we'll be putting out in the future, which I'm super excited about. But we're trying to kind of bridge that gap between like, okay, here's the education and the understanding and the science behind actually what you should be doing as a female to change your body composition. And then also, oh, here's how you actually implement it into your life so that you can do it over the long term. So yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear me? Do you hear any of that?
I can hear you. I hope that you're hearing any end of my
hear
conversation.
You now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, so I agree with all of that. I think going back to the person's initial question too, I think she was really focused, of course, on getting fit, looking good, building muscle, but she's also like, I don't have a lot of time. I need to be efficient. And I think in her head, she's thinking, get in there, beast yourself with some like HIIT circuit for 20 minutes. You're feeling it. You're obviously being efficient, but then she was maybe getting an inkling that it wasn't working exactly the best. So I think that's where, again, we keep like, talking about our program, but like the education on how to get the most out of your strength training workouts and how to be the most efficient and get the most muscle response when you're in the gym is so crucial, because you can go into the gym for 2 hours every day and be totally wasting your time. And you can go do these like cardio with weights workouts and be making yourself worse off, not to scare anybody. Like, again, there is a wide range of options for people if you prefer different types of workouts. But if you want to challenge your muscle so that it grows, that is what building strength is. That is what toning is. Challenge your muscle appropriately so that it grows in response to that challenge. You need to know how to lift weights properly and then how to recover and feed yourself properly. Those are basically it. And I mean, we can talk about that a little bit here, but that's what we go into in depth in our programs, is that it's not just about going in there and hurting in the gym. It's about doing it intelligently and properly and having that connection to your muscles so that you're actually getting the stimulus that you need and then recovering and treating yourself and nourishing yourself to the degree that your body can actually make that new muscle. That's really what it is. So there are ways, if you have 3 days a week, 45 minutes in the gym, that's still plenty of time to do what you need to do. You just need to have the right plan and then execute properly, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I'll just add one more quick thing, and I think we'll wrap this up. Understanding also and this is where like the biomechanics side of things and the understanding exercise selection, which we talk about in the muscle science forum program, and we're going to be talking about a lot in the glutes program, understanding that like, just because there's really hundreds of movements, let's use glutes, for example, that work your glutes, right? There's like so many different movements out there. But do you understand, like, are you doing a movement that is a movement that's actually working the same kind of range of motion of the glute? So for example, we talk about this and we'll talk about this in the program. There's different movements that are going to stretch your glutes, right? They're going to work your glutes in a stretch position. There's different movements that are going to work your glutes in a contracted position, right? Or I like to call them stretchers and squeezers, right? Those are working different ranges of motion, different ranges of the muscle tissue, different areas of the muscle tissue, right? With our glutes, glutes are big, right? There's different areas of it. There's different muscles within the glutes. We have, glute max, glute med, glute min. Then you have your hamstrings. You have your, other lots of other muscles in there, right? And so understanding, like, you don't have to know all the little tiny things, but if you understand exercise selection, you could go into the gym for 30 minutes and have 3 exercises that work the different ranges that we want, right? We call them the resistance profiles, right? So we could have a squeezer, a stretcher. This is giving you a little preview into the glute program. You could do like a stretcher, a squeezer, and then an isolation for your glute med, maybe. If you do you choose 3 exercises and you execute those properly, get close to failure on those, do a few sets of each within a rep range. Maybe it's, we know that we can build muscle anywhere from the 5 to 30 rep range. And as long as you're getting close to failure, as long as you're building tension within that muscle tissue, you will build muscle. And as long as you're recovering on doing all those things, you could go into the gym for 30 minutes and get an amazing glute workout if you know what to do, if you are educated behind how to do that. And I will say that you could leave that after those 30 minutes, not sweating one bit and not feeling like you're dead on the floor, and still absolutely crush your glutes in a good way, right? If you know how to do this properly. So that's where the education comes in, which is super important. Knowledge is power, right?
You're still going to feel it while you're doing the workouts. Like, don't get it twisted that these workouts are
you'll feel
easy. Okay. You're not going to go to the gym and just be like whistling while you work. You're going to be feeling at the time, but you're not going to be like passed out on the floor, like gasping for breath. That's not usually a sign of a good workout, to be honest. Yeah. Okay. So here's one last question before we go. Would you ever, because, I know we both, I think, actually dress pretty similarly when we go to the gym. Because we're doing a glute specialization program, will you start going to the gym wearing either leggings or short tights and wear a baggy t-shirt and then tuck the t-shirt into the back of your sports bra to show your bum? Have you seen this? You've seen this, right? This is like the thing now that the young cool
t-shirt
kids
into
do.
the back of the sports bra?
Yes. So
I've not seen that.
You wear like a big baggy t-shirt and you tuck the back fully into the back of your sports bra so that you're like business from the front and then party in the back, because it's just like your butt just I kind of feel like maybe we should do it just, to support the program. I mean, for no other reason, right? Like, I don't know. I'll send you a picture.
Yeah.
I'll send you.
I've definitely seen the like baggy shorts look, but and I can get down with that. Like, I like a baggy shirt. But that's mostly to like actually cover up your butt. So like you don't have creepers checking you out while you're trying to build some glutes. So I can get behind that, but like the tuck, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
This is the opposite. This is the opposite of that. This is like, I invite you to please take a good close look at my gains, and my gains are all ass. All right. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. I'm gonna send you
ass.
That's the theme song for our
Wait, do you know the song Booty 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 Rockin' Everywhere?
Obviously I do. Come on. All right.
We should have that playing in the back of this podcast the entire time. Treese.
We should have that as our intro. I don't think he'll sue us just for today. I don't think he would sue us because, let's be real, we're giving him some free advertising. And I think we should be playing it during our workshop because let's get in the right headspace, right?
Oh my God, that is great. Okay, awesome. All right, we're going to sign off. If you love this podcast and you had a little laugh from it, please make sure to give us a 5-star review or rating on wherever you listen to podcasts, and a review if you could, and share this on your story. Tag us, we'll reshare so that we can spread the word about how to actually build your glutes and your entire body and change it to look the way you want and not be doing crazy HIIT crap.
What's your tagline?
Don't
do stupid shit.
Oh, don't do stupid shit.
And mine is, let's not be insane, guys. Okay? Till next time. Girl, you look good, won't you back that ass up? You's a fine motherfucker, won't you back that ass up? Call me Big Daddy when you back that ass up. Oh, who is you playing with? Back that ass up. Girl, you look good, won't you back that ass up? You's a fine motherfucker, won't you back that ass up? Call me Big Daddy when you back that ass up. Girl, who is you playing with? Back that ass up. Girl, you look